If you've ever felt like you constantly need to keep proving yourself, maybe in your job, in your life, anywhere, I'm going to explain exactly why this is happening and importantly, how to remove yourself from these situations because we're not meant to keep proving ourselves. That's a really toxic cycle that the whole corporate world is in and a lot of the world is in right now. This sense that we have to keep proving ourselves over and over and over again. And then, quite frankly, it's exhausting. So I am going to explain actually what I consider to be one of the most toxic cycles that I see going on right now. And again, it's to empower you to not play in this cycle because we often don't really see it. So I really want to explain this clearly here today. Okay. This is what I call the Evaluator Justifier Dynamic. Okay. So there's going to be lots of nuance to this, so stay tuned. But what this essentially looks like is somebody has decided that they are evaluating you. They've put themselves in a place of evaluating you, which essentially means that they put themselves on a pedestal. You don't do it, they do it, which means if they put themselves on a pedestal, it means you're actually lower than them. Okay? That dynamic is really important to see. They put themselves at a higher position. Now, in this evaluator justifier dynamic, what happens is the person in the evaluator position says, maybe you've made a decision, maybe you are doing something at work or anywhere in your life, really. And somebody says like, hey, like, what are you doing? Is that the best way to do it? Or is this, like, do you really qualify to do this? Or can you really get it done? All these kinds of questions where they question you. Okay. And again, there's nuance to this. So please stay tuned because we do have evaluation in life, right? We do need this. But this is a situation where a person is always doing this, okay? And it's about the energy behind it because when somebody puts themselves in an evaluator position, they're putting themselves above you. And what's important to understand is a lot of times this is simply a power play, okay? So you may find in these situations, and you'll know if it's happening to you, where it feels like it doesn't really matter what you say or what you do, how qualified you are, how competent you are, how much experience you have. Like you've got all the credentials, like just like you've got a person who've got their life together all across the board, and you've got this massive track record. But it seems like no matter what you say to this person, they keep questioning you, right? It puts themselves in a position where they're constantly evaluating you. And here's the thing, you might be this well-intentioned person thinking, well, I'm trying to come to agreement with this person. I'm trying to see their point of view. I'm trying to get them to trust me. Why don't they trust me? And often what we see this is a trust issue. We see this in corporate all the time. People feel like, oh my God, like my employer doesn't trust me. My boss doesn't trust me. I'm going to have to do more. I'm going to have to be more. I'm going to have to get more qualifications. I'm going to have to get more certifications. I'm going to have to do all these things because I don't think I'm quite qualified or I'm not quite qualified for the promotion. And so I've got to keep doing, improving myself, improving. But what we don't see in a lot of these dynamics that we see right now is you and this person do not have a common goal. And you've assumed, we've all done this, myself included, that we do have a common goal. We assume that the goal is to have a consensus. We assume that the goal is to work together, but that may not be that person's goal. That can very well be a power play. And what that essentially means is they want to be constantly keeping themselves in a position of evaluating you. So in other words, there is nothing you can say, there is nothing you can do, there is nothing you can really be to convince this person that you know what you're talking about, that you're competent, that you're responsible enough, that you're qualified enough, that you're whatever, fill in the blank. Because their goal isn't to work with you. Their goal is to have power over you. So you can do everything they say forevermore. And I know you've been in this situation. We all have. You can do everything. You can honestly run yourself into the ground with exhaustion trying to please this person. And usually they dangle a carrot too, right? And you got to understand that the goal is never actually to support you and help you, or to see your point of view, or to see that you're qualified. The goal is actually to have power over you. And it's become so normalized right now. So I want to talk about this before I talk about like what you need to do instead. If you look at the world right now, and this has gotten really bad in the last number of years, if you watch the news tells you what you're supposed to think. This is how it is. Okay, so this is how the world is. And if you question it, you're questioning them. It's not about you coming at a fair angle. The way they've angled it in the world is if you question the narrative, you have to justify because they're the truth. That's the truth. Don't question the science. Don't question the results. Don't question the data. Don't question the whatever. It's always certain people assuming they know everything. They know more than you. They get it more than you. They're more qualified than you. They're more everything than you. And it puts you constantly in a position of having to justify yourself. So this situation and this dynamic is absolutely everywhere. It has infiltrated the corporate system by far. And here's the thing with it. What's really important to note was a few things. But first of all, this will impede your success. So if you continue to play in these dynamics, what's important to know is there's never a win for you because that person doesn't want to win. The person actually doesn't want you to win. They don't want to move ahead. They don't actually want to see things move forward. Their goal is power. Their goal is power. And so the longer you continue to play in these dynamics, the more it's going to hold you back, which is why I'm sharing this right now, because I've been there. My clients have been there. People I've worked with have been there. And it's not empowering you. These dynamics are actually power leaks for you. Okay. Because if you stay in them, you essentially are leaking your power, which is really taking you further and further away from yourself and success. Okay. What's also important to know is these are often masked and looked like it's a trust issue. So a great example, and I wanted to come up with a couple of examples in this video today. If you think about the work from home scenario, okay? God, we've talked about this till the cows come home, right? Oh my God. Does it work? Doesn't it work? All these things. And what happens is if somebody wants to work at home, and we've seen this, they have to justify it because there's somebody in power that says, well, if you want to have it your way, you've got to justify it, right? And so it keeps this person constantly in a position of evaluating. And then we call it a trust issue. My boss doesn't trust me. Why don't they trust me? It never was about trust, ever. It's never been it. Because you think to yourself, my God, and like, I've shown them. I've been, maybe you've been somebody who's like been performing. You're a star employee. You always get your job done. You're like, damn, why don't they trust me? Because it never was about trust. They want power over you. You can do everything. You can perform doing twice what you're doing right now. And you'll never please that person because that person doesn't want that dynamic with you. That person always wants to put you in a position where you need to keep performing for them. You need to keep proving yourself for them because that keeps them in that position above you. Now, there's nuance to this, and this is really important because, within the corporate systems, there are checks and balances, there are processes, absolutely. And the tricky part is knowing when you're being told, well, we have to do this because of process, or somebody comes up with this real logical reason why you need to keep prove yourself, because that's what people do. When somebody is in that person of putting themselves in an evaluator position, they're going to come up with a lot of really logical reasons why they want you to keep jumping through hoops, because that's what it really is. We have to justify it for the board. We've got to, do all these things. So what's important here is a couple things is you look at what has been your relationship with this person to this point, right? Because if you've got a boss that's always there and is always hearing, you're having these great conversations where you're sharing ideas and you're coming to great conclusions. It's a great dynamic and you feel really good in it. But one day they come to you like, hey, we need to really we need to come up with some more data. We need to, whatever it is, justify this. That's different. Okay. But you have to discern this. You've got to discern which is somebody who just needs some more data, who needs some more information legitimately, and somebody who just keeps saying that to keep you on a hamster wheel. Okay. Another example is, I hear this so often of people going to job interviews. Like they go to, and it's like, well, we've got 5 interviews we want you to go through, and we want you to do this project, and we want to do all that stuff because we've got to make sure we're hiring the right person. No, you don't need 5 interviews. You want to see how much that person will jump through hoops for you. It's a power play. It's a power play. It's simple. We have to see it for what it is. When you feel like, and this is the important part, is you've got to slow down and connect with yourself. If you feel like you're always having to jump through hoops, you're always having to prove yourself, you're always having to fill in the blank. I'm not getting that promotion because I don't have my MBA. Okay. And then you get your MBA and you're like, I don't have this certification, or I don't have this skill, or now they've told me this, and now they've told me this, and now they've told me this. You are on a hamster wheel, but we also have to understand that we are choosing to stay on that hamster wheel. And you might say, well, this is all there's out there. And I'm going to push back on that gently, because that's not the truth. See, what happens energetically is every time you engage with something and continue to engage with it, even if you don't like it, even if you hate it, even if it's driving you nuts, what you're essentially doing energetically is you're sending out the signal that I like this, because you're saying yes to it. You're saying, yes, I'm agreeing to participate in this. So it's really important to note, because we can, and it goes, to all kinds of brain science. There's energetics, there's quantum mechanics, that you can go down so many paths to explain why this is. But when we engage in things, we agree to them. We agree to them. So at some point, and we've all done this. I know I did this for years until I saw it. Right? And I'm going to tell you, it is subtle sometimes. It is really subtle. And this is when I talked about, you have to feel into the energy, because sometimes somebody is saying all the right words. They're just saying all the right things that you think to yourself, oh, they care for me, or they care about the result. But if you feel a power play, if you feel like there's a struggle, if you feel like you have to keep proving yourself, you are in a power play dynamic, and you will never win if you play on it. You will never, ever win. And these are not just people at the top. These are people everywhere. Okay. And I'm also going to say, because it's important to mention, that if you are a woman, this has been even worse for women. It's happening to everybody, absolutely, especially right now. Like I talk about the way the world has evolved over the last number of years, that we've got the authority figures that know everything, and we have to keep justifying our existence. But for women, it's even worse, right? And so we've almost just accepted it, maybe not questioned it. It's just part of being a woman, right? And what frustrates me about a lot of personal development, leadership development, and empowerment, they teach you how to navigate these situations, or they teach you how to, talk in a situation where somebody's trying to have a power play over you. And it's not about that at all. Because as long as you're engaging in it, period, you're engaging in it and you're saying yes to it. There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can do in that dynamic that is going to change the dynamic, except removing yourself from it. You have to remove yourself from it. So if you've got a boss right now who is always questioning you, always, and you feel like a circus monkey all the time, and you've at times probably turned that on yourself and thought, I'm not worthy, or I'm not doing enough, I'm not good enough, right? Because that's also the power play here, right? It's to make the other person feel really small, insignificant. Know that that person's never going to champion you. They're never going to actually elevate you, because they don't want to. They have no desire to. And so you need to make a decision. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to tell you that, if you engage in this, if you continue to participate, All it's doing is it's actually leaking more and more of your power. I talk about reclaiming your power so much because it's the answer to all your success, all your joy, all your everything. But we also have to see where we leak our power. We have to see these subtle dynamics where we are leaking our power. And that's why I'm sharing this today, because this is a huge power leak for most people, because we're on autopilot now in proving ourselves. We are. Most people are in complete autopilot, though we don't even see it anymore. But we have to see it and then make a new choice. So I've also got, just to mention, I've got one-on-one sessions. If you have a situation you're trying to navigate, this is great for like a 1 hour, one-off session with me. And I've also got my masterclass, Reclaim Your Power. I'm going to put the link to both of those down below. If you're ready to really tackle this, take back your power, seal up all these power leaks so you can elevate yourself and your life to the next level. All right, beautiful soul. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.